Everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Maria. My channel is Mosaic Maria. Happy Eclipse Day. So where I live, we are in Rochester, New York, upstate, Western New York. So we are in the path of, we should be able to get a total view of the eclipse today. So I'm wearing my little moon, my little moon ring and my moon earrings. Little sunshine stuff, my sun and moon ring, and probably gonna jump into something yellow and black and head outside with my glasses and catch this celestial event. So, couple things about it that I thought were interesting, and then I'm going to talk about the movie Split and um, media perceptions about mental health depictions that are in the media. So, one of the things I thought was very interesting was I saw on TV that Navajo, the Navajo Nation, believe that when an eclipse happens, it is the union of the sun and the moon. So it is a star and a planet mating and drawing energy from each other. So the moon is drawing, the planet, the moon, is drawing energy from the sun, and during that time period where they are united, you're not supposed to look at it because it's sacred, and it would be like walking in on your parents in bed naked. So you don't want to do that. So it's a sacred event. And so what they do is they don't look at it. They prepare for it. They clean their house. They make their intentions. Um, they speak to the spirit, and they also um, draw all their blinds. They don't eat, and they don't look outside at all the entire 24 hours. So it's quite an event for them. And I thought that was very interesting. And also that all us wanting to see it could probably interrupt it all of a sudden. So now I feel like, ew, I don't know if I should be seeing this. Maybe that's why it blinds your eyes, because you're not supposed to be seeing it, because these two celestial beings are mating to keep our earth and the planet going. So, ooh, maybe we shouldn't be looking. But I still have my glasses and I'm going to go out and look. All right, so enough said of that. The other thing that I'm interested in, really real quick though, is how the animals are going to react if the birds are going to all like suddenly land and go to their nest. In 2017, we were able to see a partial eclipse where I live, and I got a picture of it. And it was really, really quiet. It was like the birds just, it didn't get dark. It was kind of cloudy. And I only got a little tiny picture of it at the end. And nothing really interesting happened other than there weren't many people around, because many people went to the parks around here to get a better view. But where I live, we have clear skies. We have the most beautiful setup for this. There are some clouds, but it's really bright. You're going to be able to see it, and it will get dark, and then it will get light. So I'm kind of interested in, will the crickets come out? Will the deer come out? Will the fox and all the night critters come out? Will the birds suddenly just start flocking all at once? What's going to happen, right? So that's kind of more interesting to me too. What else? What else? What else? Where I live, because of being in the total path, we have like 130 something thousand more people and thousands of more vehicles around. So in New York, Buffalo, Rochester, New York, Rochester, New York is where I am. They're like they've got state of emergencies and um, all these different military people and tons of police and National Guard. And really, I don't see that happening. I don't see more people. I don't, if they are around, I don't know where they are. But I see a lot of people making money off of this, like a lot of people selling solar merch, so anything. And I got duped into it the other day. I was going past the grocery store, Wegmans, and I was going in to get the normal Danish that I bring into work all the time. So on my way to work, I walk right past the grocery store, and when I go in later in the day, I can stop in and get donuts or Danish. And every now and again, I like to do that just because it makes everyone feel a little better to have something to nosh on while they're eating, right? Or while they're working. And uh, it just kind of brings a smile to like the younger kids, it motivates them a little bit and makes you, it's an appreciative thing to do. So I do that. And I went in to just get the Danish, and I walked by, and they had like 3 extra employees on, and they were all icing cookies really fast and putting them out. And there were Solar Eclipse cupcakes, Solar Eclipse donuts, Solar Eclipse cookies. And I guess I could have gone to the Dollar Tree and just got some moon pies. Seriously. But I grabbed, they had cookies with yellow with the black glasses, like just a smiley face cookie with the glasses on. And they had some that were cut in half, like yellow and black, some that were black and white, like a moon pie cookie or a moon cookie. Then they had others that just said happy solar eclipse, others that said radiate, have a nice day, crescent moon ones, sunshine ones, orange and all different colors. And then the one that caught my attention that I had to get was a heart-shaped cookie with just a ton of confetti on it that was all, it looked like it could have been left over from Easter, but it made sense. It was like, whew, all the different colors of the universe on this heart. So yeah, so I did that. So I did kind of like fold to the solar merch, the gouging. That's the craziness. Um, what else? That's it. Okay, so if you looked at my thumbnail, I'm going to talk about the movie Split, but I'm also going to talk about why the multiple community people with DID, dissociative identity disorder, and what used to be called multiple personality disorder, did not want M. Night Shyamalan to make the movie Split. They did not want James McAvoy to play Kevin Wendell Crumb, a man with 23 personalities who develops a beast at the end. Um, what intrigued me about this, there was the whole community, the multiple community in general, started a campaign to stop the movie years ago. And everyone was up in arms about it, like, we don't want to be portrayed this way. This is not what it is. Yada, 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 yada. It was all over. And I was all on board. And people couldn't understand why I wasn't getting too excited about this because I came out here in 2009 when there were no channels out here about media depictions, debunking the myths and media of misperceptions and how the media perpetuates the myths, sensationalizes things, adds to the folklore, the the craziness, and you sensationalizes things that are criminalize it, demonize it, make it awful, and just add to the stigma and the fear. That people that already feel very isolated and are living in anxiety and loss have more of that because of the bad depictions. So we have Sybil, we have Three Faces of Eve, and these are based on supposed true stories, and they can be kind of hard to watch too. And then we have One Rabbit House, which can be very hard to watch too, and the books. And then we have all the soap operas, we have all the made for TV movies. We have Billy McGillen, docudrama. We have Fight Club. We have Identity. We have, it just goes on and on. United States of Terror. When I first came out here, I reviewed every episode of that to try to find what rings a little more true to people's experiences and what is just off the Richter scale and tell people that no. Okay. So I have tried to review every book, go over the history, and look at depictions in theater, musicals, how Hollywood got together with psychiatry in the early centuries. By 1948, producers were going ahead and researching medical conditions and mental health conditions and trying to learn from psychiatrists how to portray these characters. Actors and actresses were having to meet with people and learn about stuff. So they were trying to be educated from true stories and from doctors, and they would always have medical experts who were script writers on medical shows like Emergency, Dr. Marcus Welby, Dr. Kildare, all those movies. But on these films where they portray people with borderline personality, bipolar, depression, anxiety, alcoholism, withdrawal, drug dependencies, autism, Alzheimer's. They really try to have medical experts on, and then a special expert writer, which for those of you that remember during United States of Terror, um, Leah Peterson was the special writer with Diablo Cody because she experienced her life as with more than one. So, anyways, what I have always said is media matters. And the only thing we could do is become the media and log our life as it truly is. And there will be seasons of flare up, seasons that are rough. And then there will be times that we're just shining fantastic and everything is fine. And it's really important to not fall into the trap of what we see in media, and that means what's out here on the internet too. So it can be a very fine line of figuring out how to present. There are people that consider themselves positive plural or healthy plural, more than one, and they just identify as having alter egos. Um, they they believe they just developed with more than one with no trauma. And then and they don't want to see the folks with DID or did, like they call it in Britain, uh, suffering all the time and going through all the drama all the time. So for positive plurals and people that just identify as more than one and look at it more like they have another ego state or more alter egos and it's natural, they don't see the problem. So I'm starting to look at this as those folks kind of identify almost as a trans gender or fluid or person would identify with non-binary, just not having to identify in any and just jumping around like whatever it is, whatever age they are, whatever sex they are, whatever culture they are. And I don't know, that's a whole new territory that seems odd to me, unless you're looking at ego state therapy, which Dr. Watkins and I believe his wife too started to look at as family. I'll put a link up so you can read about ego state therapy. But that's where they use creating alter egos or looking for in your personality alter egos that are in your family system and that you maybe grew up emulating and finding the positive in those things and then looking at the negative traits in that family system's approach and seeing why you behave the way you do. So when we talk about alter egos, alter states, it's very common to have different aspects in everyone's personality. It's also very common to disassociate. to certain degrees during the day to just get through your day and function. And it doesn't create chaos or disorder. And then there is disassociating that creates chaos. It creates amnesia. It creates lost time. It creates behavior that is not okay or healthy. So I really believe DID will become a spectrum, more of a spectrum disorder in the DSM eventually, because there's so many aspects of it that can be found in borderline personality disorder, in attention deficit disorder, and in anxiety disorders and depression. And then you run the gamut of eating disorders and all of that can be there too. And so, and even obsessive compulsive. So, um, I I just always was just, I guess it was a conundrum, like why is multiple personality the thing that's being shown as so awful all the time? Why? When there's so many actual great things that tapping into your aspects of your personality that are you, they're all you, they're all me, actually are great and help us survive and cope. And that I'm not saying it's a miracle or something special. Everyone has that. So there's actually therapy now where it's very popular, it's very trendy to go to a therapist and for therapists to help their client look at their deficits and what they want to do and what's standing in their way of their purpose in life and ask them, if you weren't afraid right now, if you weren't limited by this or that or black and white thinking or other people's opinions, what would you really want to accomplish if you were just the type of person that thought, I don't give a hoot? What if you weren't a person that was bothered by your boss or a coworker or a student at school, it didn't bother you to be bullied, how would you go in there and act? And they help you create and find that superpower in you that would go in there and just be like, so what? Like, so what? Bully me all you want. Or, just let it go over your head. So it is trendy to create alter egos in therapy now to help people just cope with going to work, going to school, going on the subway, driving their car, dealing with difficult people in their family. Okay, you don't like to go see your family, but isn't there a part of you that does? Let's tap into that part of you that does and work with that part. And you make a deal with that part. Like, okay, you're going to the family picnic. I'm just going to not be there. Kind of weird. But it's happening. They're doing it. Life coaches are out there. Beware of life coaches that are not trained or they're in a multi-market level life coach kind of thing. It's a business. Be careful. Trauma is a business. Right now, the only other the only other business that is making as much money as trauma is the diet industry. Right now, and it's always been diets, and now it's trauma. How to get past trauma, how to sell your story, how to tell your story, what you learned from your story, your why, how you got to the other side, and bringing people into your community to help them. And if you help one person, you've helped the world. Everyone says that, okay? It's a business. All right, so I never monetized. Okay. Um, there were things I could have done. I guess I could have put my entire personality display on display constantly in my day and how I deal. There are big personality groups out here. DID would be one of them. Multiplicity and Me would be another. There are tons of big groups out here that really did serve. Jess Multiplicity and Me really um, was more of an educational, whereas did Chloe was more of a serving up a shit show a lot of the time in a very educational way and making a lot of money. And yeah, I will call her out. And so there's that. So there are a lot of people that role play, but I have never. There are a lot of people online that role play. So be careful of the multiples and people with DID online. There are internet DIDers, and then there are people that actually have the disorder or they have the challenge or the experience, and it's not always present. It's not always a problem. Um, so there are seasons of of there are seasons of everything. For everything, there's a season, and there are seasons of healing, and you have to know when you're in that healing season and you can move forward. So and then we just look at what did I learn from that. And it's really hard for secondary survivors, your children, your husband, your wife, your parents, everyone that saw you in that disordered season to ever see you in a healthy season again because they're traumatized by your unhealthy season. So they're going to be scared that if you start doing this or that, you're going to go down that path again. Um, So just keep moving forward and keep being as consistent as you can with with just being spontaneous when you want to be too, and just keep checking in with those people that are worried and telling them, nope, this is me. This is me. All right, because they're looking for you to be different. That's what they're looking for. All right, so enough said there for right now, because I'm going to be doing some videos on ego state therapy and a whole lot of other stuff. Where athletes and performers are taught to be another ego state on stage or when they're performing and to tap into their superpowers. What else? What else? What else? Okay, so it finally happened. The movie Split came out. Everyone went up in arms about it. And I decided I'm going to concentrate on the survivor. What did the one girl that was kidnapped learn from early childhood that saved her life in and make her be able to calm down the beast in Split and survive? What did she learn? The minute she was kidnapped, in fact, before the three girls were kidnapped, she already knew something is not right. She didn't even want to get in the car. She knew ahead of time. Why? Because she had early trauma and she was still traumatized from it and she was still reacting to it. So her triggers and her reactions actually helped her to jump into survival mode and be the only person that survived. So that's what I concentrated on. Everyone else was looking at, we want to get this movie gone. But I knew M. Night Shyamalan was not going to take down his movie. And James McAvoy did a lot of videos to explain that he had researched it. They were going to use good lingo. So when M. Night went ahead and made this, he researched with people that had DID. He researched with doctors. And that's what I find really befuddling. In fact, I'm going to read this to you. M. Night Shyamalan is said to have consulted doctors about the reality of dissociative identity disorder. I wish I knew how to get these things up on my screen, but I don't. If somebody does know how to do that, please let me know. So I could show it to you with me. M. Night Shyamalan is said to have consulted doctors about the reality of dissociative identity disorder before making Split. But the terrifying way it is represented suggests he didn't take much of their community seriously. The movie focuses on Kevin and his abduction of three young girls. He interacts with them as different personalities. He has 23. The audiences primarily see four: Dennis, Patricia, Hedwig, and Barry. But eventually, the Beast, a dangerous amalgamation, appears pure cinematic fiction, and the graphic nature of his violence, including killing his own therapist, paints people with dissociative identity disorder in a horrific light. He also cannibalizes. He he cannibalizes. Okay, so and I'm reading from an article which is the 14 worst character portrayals of DID or MPD. So what really bothers me is that M. Night Shyamalan went so deep into the community of DID and to doctors, experts, medical experts, and then came up with that. So I knew that ahead of time, and I thought, we could just keep giving money to this, keep writing letters. They're not going to take the movie down. And there was a sequel. But every now and again, people would talk about, well, people know it's a movie. They know it's fiction. Nobody's going to actually, think that people do that. There's always one. So, only person I know, well, the only people I know of, and I could be wrong, the only people I know that blamed a movie for a crime would be the man that shot President Reagan after watching Taxi. And then I believe Catcher in the Rye, the book, was blamed for a lot of Billy McGillen's crimes, and also Mark Chapman, who killed John Lennon. And then the lyrics of songs. And then we have people with video games. There are role players out there. A young man by the name of Joseph Head, 25 years old, started a relationship with a woman on the pretense he with malice and forethought and motive, hooked up with this woman, young woman. He watched Split hundreds of times. He was obsessed with the movie Split. So it wasn't like he did a crime and then later with his team came up with, I had trauma in my background and I'm going to say I have multiple personality. No. He created multiple personality from watching the movie Split. Then he put all of his characters, much like a therapist says, map your personality system. Let's find out who is who, what they like to wear, how they talk, how they dress, where they go, what they do, where they came from, their culture, their accent, everything, fleshing out the characters. He had it all on his phone. So after he watched Split over and over again, he would actually reference the movie, put it on his phone, threatened her constantly that if she did not do what he said, have sex with her, or do whatever he wanted while having sex with her, that Jay, his bad personality, would kill him and her, both of them. Then when he did do something that hurt her, like rape her, assault her, physically, emotionally, sexually, he would blame it on his bad personality. Then he would bring out his good personalities, like his younger personalities, and maybe his sexier personalities, and ones that were more female that she could relate to. And he started to get her invested in his personality system. And I know we all can understand this in the multiple DID community. Those of us that have husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, parents, friends, there will be a time when they're getting to know the alter aspects and they decide, I like this person better. I wish this person could be like this all the time. Or I'd rather hang out with the one that's younger and calmer and fun. Or I'd rather hang out with this one. They're more sexy. They're more. Or what? It was very hard for her to go to the police and the detectives because she had to admit to the detectives, hey, yeah, I did stay with him because he told me he had multiple personality. He told me he was working about it. And I met all the different personalities, and there was this bad personality. So the way he kept me was to keep manipulating this illness and telling him he would kill himself or somebody would kill him in his personality group, or uh, she would get hurt. So the detectives really had to dig deep and wait patiently. And she had to be brave enough to go back with him when she really wanted to leave and just uh, go along with that, um, in order to get him to find times that he wasn't, because you can't just you can't role play this thing forever. And I always say time will out the truth. You cannot role play this forever. And even actors and actresses that have tried to play somebody with multiple personality, it's very hard to get back into that character. They have a hard time. Or if they do, then they have a hard time losing that character. So all this cosplay, role play that's going on out there, it really can go on for a season, and it can be harmful. But this is the first man I know, woman, man, that faked a mental illness, faked multiple personality, with the idea I saw it on Split, and I'm gonna go be like those characters, even their names and stuff. I'm gonna dress. I'm gonna be like them and get what I want and blame it on I have multiple personality. So when the detectives went back, they found all of it on his phone, all of his references to the movie. They even found that when he said to her that he took an overdose, and that another personality tried to kill him because of her, because of her leaving, that there was no overdose. Toxicology reports, everything. So this guy was just a schmuck. The forensics doctors and everything just found he's just a nasty, nasty guy. He had no mental illness. He's just evil. Okay, so he's in jail for 8 years, and he has to, I guess he's got was in jail for 8 years, definitely convicted of rape, assault, felony, all this stuff. And uh, then he has to register as a sex offender in everywhere he goes, and as a dangerous one. And I don't know if they're giving him therapy. I don't know if they're talking to him or whatever, but I will leave all the linkage for it. And I guess I just wanted to mention this because we have always talked about in the multiple DID community, dissociative identity disorder community, and in mental health, why it's so important to get the depiction right and not go off the deep end with it. And honestly, I can remember when I first came out here in 2009, my kids were like, Mom, but people know that's fiction when I was doing United States of Terror. And some of my family members and some of my friends were like, yeah, but people know that's fiction. Some of them don't. Some of them don't. Media is very powerful, and that includes social media. So, and all of it matters. So I just wanted to mention that. Happy Eclipse Day. Have a wonderful day. And please get to where you got to go to for seeing this event, or don't look at it if you think it's a sacred union. And I hope you get all the good vibes from it. And I'll be out here doing more videos. I'm just going to be sitting here doing up some dishcloths. I've got another color I'm working on here. color. And I finally got my yarn, and it's salt and pepper speck. And I was expecting this to be more blue because it's called sky blue, but it's more like a green. But it's going to work out fine. So I'm just making dishcloths today and cleaning and cooking and waiting for 3 o'clock and see what happens, right? And I thought I would do this video on split and Joseph Head because I think it's absolutely deplorable. All right, take care, everyone, and thanks for watching. If you like the content of my channel, which is just a vlog sometimes, I would tell you to go back and look at my older videos, like, share, comment. I want to know what you have to say about this, and do, if you haven't been at my channel for a while, reintroduce yourselves so I can know what's going on in your life. All right, take care, everyone.